Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. It is Tuesday morning, the 3rd of August, and I am really happy to be here with you. And this morning I want to talk about how do you do the work of being in your inner landscape, grounding and filling, like what we've been working with each week in some different way, when your insides are not comfortable physically. So let's say, for instance, that you're running a fever, or let's say, for instance, that you are fighting a bug of some kind, or that you have a particular ache or pain in a given area. And we're going to talk about the process, because oftentimes when we have things like this, what we do is we actually move away from it rather than moving toward it. We actually will hover around it, but not actually come into deeper connection with it. So what I would love to do is to work today with the process of being more in your body with the areas that are uncomfortable physically. You know, many of you who have studied with me for a long time know about being with the parts of yourself that you're uncomfortable with emotionally or psychically. But the process of being with what you're uncomfortable with physically can feel at times daunting. And there are certain times where being with a part of yourself that's really in pain would be counterintuitive or contraindicated. So I'll give you an example of that. A good friend of mine, my colleague Lori Chinitz, took a fall a month ago today, I believe, maybe 5 weeks, in Boulder, and came down on both wrists and really did them in. It was not pretty. And she had to make it 4 hours down the mountain after she took the fall. And what her body did was to go into a form of shock that enabled her to numb out and not feel what was going on in her system until she could make it to the bottom of the mountain. And then over the days and weeks after, when she had surgery and was on the mend and things were coming back, then she could slowly return to her body, return to the places that were in pain, so she could more adequately address what was going on. But in that first 4 hours, when she was trying to make it off the mountain, she needed literally the body's natural defenses, which were to numb everything out, sort of consciously sit beside yourself in a way, in order to not have to feel that level of pain, because it would have been overwhelming. So this is not the kind of circumstance where we're saying you should take the time and meditate and go inside and feel your pain. When it's survival oriented, you survive. It's when we come afterwards to these areas that it can be problematic, because if you remain numb over time, it actually gets in the way of your being able to be present in the rest of your life. Yeah. So I'm telling you this whole story because 2 days ago, I had lunch with some friends. It's a lovely outdoor restaurant. And I had something called ouzo shrimp. And it was very hot and spicy. It was very tasty. I loved it. And the minute it hit my gut, I began to have discomfort inwardly from about my diaphragm down. And it grew worse across the course of the next couple of days. I didn't know what was wrong until I put the pieces back together and I went, oh, right, I don't really do well with very hot and spicy things anymore in my system, although I used to love them. But it was kind of funny, because as I've been sitting with it, I'm understanding now that there's a way that I can't really hear what it is that I need until I can let myself connect with the soreness in my gut and what's going on there. So let's, if you would, take a moment now and find a part of yourself that you're not physically comfortable with. It might be an ache or a pain in your neck or your hands, or it might be in your knees, or it might be in your shoulders, or you might have a particular area. You might be like me, you might be dealing with something in your gut. But take a moment now and identify something that you want to take some time to connect with and tune into, so that you can find whatever the system needs in order to have that issue resolve, or at least be mediated at some level. Okay? Some people have chronic pain that may not entirely go away, but you can Bring it down to a level that you can live with and work with and be creative and walk on through your life. Okay. So finding that place within yourself, I'm going to ask you then to put your feet on the floor, soles of your feet on the floor, and you can cradle and hold the area that is mine is just right here in my midsection. Or you can physically hold it. You can physically hold it, or you can hold it in your mind's eye if it's uncomfortable. If it's somewhere in your back, you can't very well hold that without twisting yourself all around to get there. So let yourself do it in such a way that you're comfortable. And then allowing your eyes to close. Let your awareness drop into your body and notice what that area of you feels like. As you go by on your way to your feet. And breathing a couple more times, you're letting your conscious awareness drop and drop and drop down into your feet. Good, good. And then finding your feet. Make that connection with the earth. That connection with the earth. As deeply and widely as you feel comfortable doing right now, today. The earth is that unconditional resource that's with us all the time. And then putting down your roots, light beams, rivers, whatever metaphor works for you, making a connection to this external, unconditional resource. Begin to breathe in whatever sensations this area of you needs most. Now, how will you know this? You know this by settling in your mind's eye or with your hands. And I'm asking this part of me, what do you need? Yeah, and there's a feeling of it being bruised. Like it's just in my gut, it feels like it's bruised. And then I'm asking, what do you need? And I get the feeling that if I could breathe in the sensation of cool aloe vera, that it would help this area. So as I inhale, with each inhale, I'm calling in from the earth what will help this area here in my gut, so it can come right in through the bottoms of my feet and my legs and right through my pelvis into my belly. And as it gets here, if I need to readjust it, I will. But first of all, I've made this connection, and I'm going to simply inhale that sensation, whatever it is, that will nourish and finish the healing process in my gut. And if you want to, you can think about exhaling whatever you no longer need. You exhale whatever you no longer need. Yeah, and there's just a cool blue-green color and texture and wonderful sense of what's coming into my gut with each breath. And by the way, as I breathe, and I'm breathing in this cool blue-green, you might actually have a part of your body that's so torqued tightly that it needs a warm red-orange sensation, or the feeling of being held by strong, warm hands, or something else. So really ask whatever area you're working with within yourself, what it needs at this moment, and continue to breathe it in, exhaling what you no longer need. And as you're doing this from the earth beneath you, you can also add inhaling just through your nostrils, simply. So it's coming in from the earth beneath you, also through your nostrils, down into your lungs and out into your body, wherever, whatever it is needed. So it's coming in from two different doorways. And I'm noticing the area that's still feeling bruised. It's softened right here under my hands. Wants me to come lower. So I'm going to move my hands. And you do the same. Listen to yourself. Listen to your inner landscape. Good, good. And you may be noticing just a little difference or a lot of difference. But now that you've begun the process, we're going to take another couple minutes simply in silence as you inhale what would nourish you most and exhale what you no longer need. And notice that sometimes as things heal, come into balance, better balance, that what they need shifts ever so slightly. So I'm noticing in my lower gut, it likes the warmth of my hands. And so I'm allowing it to soak that in at the same time that I'm breathing at a deeper level. This cool aloe gel sensation. Good, good. You know, most people don't know that they can offer themselves this kind of aid and healing. We think that we should go outside of ourselves to find the doctor or the expert or something like that. And there are times, absolutely, where that is appropriate. Absolutely. But in moments like this, where something has begun to ache or it feels sore or it's stiff, many times, you can offer yourself what you need and continue to do so through your breath, through your grounding, through your presence, through your gentle, compassionate presence with yourself in a time when you're feeling some discomfort or some area is not happy. Yeah. Okay. So have a lot of fun with this. You can continue on with the breath after we end in a few moments, or you can end with me now that you know how to come back to it whenever you need to. Maybe a couple times a day, 3 times a day. Whatever your system needs, ask it, and it will tell you. Sometimes it'll tell you in sensations. Sometimes it'll tell you with visual hits. Sometimes you'll actually hear words. Sometimes you just have a deep knowing. So however you receive the information, that deep informing from your inner landscape, do so as best you can. And have a great day. Enjoy.